New ID.
You should pay for my therapy. We talk about you maybe twice a week. You should pay for my therapy. Like you may as well join in and pull up a seat. Let's talk about it all, talk about it out loud. See how I really feel. Don't wanna work it out, don't wanna work it out. Baby, I'm just being real. I don't wanna be your friend now. I'm still cleaning up the mess. And I think I can forgive you, but I know I can't forget you. Cost me more than my time, you know you should cover the price for me. I don't wanna make amends, but you could write a check for my therapy. You could write a check for my therapy. Like you're telling your confession, take it to the priest, yeah. You should thank all my family, cause all they hear about is how you mess me up religiously. Let's talk about it now, yeah, let's talk about how you never care how I feel. You wanna work it out, I don't wanna work it out. Baby, I'm just being real. Hey, I don't wanna be your friend now. I'm still cleaning up the mess. And I think I can forgive you, but I know I can't forget you. Cost me more than my time, you know you should cover the price for me. I don't wanna make amends, but you could write a check for my therapy. You could write a check for my therapy. I don't wanna be your friend now. I'm still cleaning up the mess. And I think I can forgive you, but I know I can't forget you. Cost me more than my time, you know you should cover the price for me. I don't wanna make amends, but you could write a check for my therapy. With you, take me where I wanna go. I know that you know I know. The only place I wanna go, yeah. You know, yeah. With you, take me where I wanna go, yeah. I know that you know I know. There's no place that I'd rather go. You know, yeah. You know. Take me where I wanna go, yeah. I know that you know I know. Only place I wanna go, yeah. You know, yeah.
Probably was some smoke-colored camp girl.
Look like this one's mother.
Hey, everyone!
Yo.
Nice to see everyone again. I saw a few people in the chat already, but Phil, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in quite some time. What have you been doing out there in internet land?
Just living the dream, chilling, working in my underwear every day.
Oh, that sounds good. Now, I don't know if anyone notices, but two things that stand out about Phil's setup right now. First off, he's ready to unbox the newest tech gadget right now, as you can tell.
That's right. I got the new RTX 3090 that I'm opening up today. We're gonna test it out, do a couple benchmark tests, and yeah.
It's funny because I can't tell if you're joking, because if you did, who did you murder for that 3090? Who did you murder for that?
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way I had one of those.
But yeah, we have a great show tonight. We have two very drastically different movies tonight, Phil. I don't know if they could be any more different.
Right.
One, I think, is an art house film, and one is the conglomerate of 17 producers. So, it is
right.
It is the exact opposite.
Yeah, one is the conglomerate of 17 producers, and the other is a small art house film called Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, just small company. So we'll definitely interact with the chat in the mid break of the show. But I just want to anyone who's watching, Scotterson, hello, welcome to the new show. But so I think that brings us to, let's just get right into it, Phil. Our first film tonight, Wonder Woman 1984.
The new release.
Well, I think we're going to pull the trailer right now. Just for anyone who doesn't know what this movie was, or if you somehow don't have HBO Max, or if you're not bought into the system.
This world is not yet ready for all that you will do. Your time will come, Diana. And everything will be different.
That was the best part of the film right there, by the way. That was the best part of the film.
Right.
Lasso the cloud.
Citizens of the world, I'm here to change your life.
Dang.
Dude, this guy.
This is so much to talk about. So many things that they touched on.
You look like you saw a ghost.
This man who's not a man.
This poor man
Who got just his life was in danger.
He doesn't even know what he's getting into.
I want to be an apex predator.
Apex predator. I will talk about that. Talk about the apex predator. Tigress. Is that her name? Not Tigress.
She's the cheetah.
That's my turn.
What's the comic book name? Her arch nemesis. What's her arch nemesis name?
She should be called Cheetah. That's her. That's her official.
That's her official name.
Yeah. Gangster. That's her gangster name.
That's her the online forums. That's what she's called.
The answer is always more.
Oh boy,
dude.
Oh, see, here we go. I actually, while watching that, I watched this with my father, and I was like,
Radar.
Will they shoot at us?
"Oh man, isn't this movie so funny? Look at, oh man, quirky and plucky."
The trailer makes it seem like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Props, kudos to whoever cut this trailer together.
Trailers are always the best part of a multi-billion-dollar movie.
Right.
Or millions. Did I say million? Millions, right? Not billions. Wonder Woman 1984.
I'm not so keen on this one. I figure you are, but you know what? I'm ready to go.
I should have dressed like that. I have that same outfit.
Do you have this outfit, Phil?
That one right
lying around? This one right here?
Right.
To brush out the cobwebs for that outfit here, Phil.
Yeah.
Dang. Where do I begin with 1984? Okay, well, let's just get our overall reactions first off. Okay. After you finish the film, the first thought that went through your brain, let's just write it off right there.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think what I thought, if I can remember correctly, was like that was one of the craziest friggin' movies I've ever seen. Like it just doesn't. I don't know, man. It's like this blob of like weird stuff. Like I don't get it. You know what I mean? It's just such a weird movie.
Yeah. So we're gonna try a new thing tonight, where we actually, I'm gonna try to rewrite the general themes of this movie. Now, I'm not getting paid enough to rewrite the entire thing. I just want to just hit the bullet points of what I think the themes are of this movie that they're trying to hit, and maybe just give it a little bit of salt. Because that's what this movie is. It's like a soup, but they forgot like what the main ingredient of the film was.
What kind of soup they were making?
What kind of soup they were making? And they just they're like, put some carrots in there. That'll fill it up. That'll make the movie a little more dense. But yeah, geez. I think for me after the film, the number one film, the thought that went in my mind was like, all right. Okay.
Right.
Perfectly fine.
Right.
And that's what I think, man. And I don't know about how you feel about this, but how do you feel about like, because we talked about this before, but like this is technically the Zack Snyder quote unquote universe, right? So this is kind of the lineage of how DC films are going to be made moving forward. And Wonder Woman is the linchpin. Like this is their baby at this point. It's the one that brings the money. It's the most popular icon. I mean, how do we feel about this franchise moving forward, Phil?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about even Henry Cavill possibly being replaced as Superman, and we already know that. Is that true? Right, and we already know that Ben Affleck is out as Batman, at least for Zack Snyder's cool Justice League, 4-hour extravaganza. He's coming back for that, but it's like they've already got another Batman cast, so it's like I don't really know. To be honest with you, I don't even really know what their goals are. Moving forward, it's like I know Wonder Woman is a big property, and I know Gal Gadot is really big, and she does a really good job. And Patty Jenkins is been signed on for another one already. I think, as far as I know. Is that
true? Patty Jenkins is on for another one.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Right.
I bet because who's our famous boy now? Our boy is. Didn't we just review a film with the new Batman? Or am I going insane?
Oh, yeah, he was in it. Yeah, Robert Pattinson. He was in Tenet.
Yes, Tenet. Yes, that was our favorite boy, Robert Pattinson, is in the new Batman.
Right.
And see, that's what I'm saying. At this point, are these individual films, or is this the new lineage of the universe that we're in? And if this is, how do we feel about this universe?
What was funny about this movie is that of all the other ones, this one really did feel like it was just its own thing. Like they were just we're just going to do our own thing. Like
it did.
Don't worry about anything. And especially in regards to the fact that, Wonder Woman was supposedly had disappeared ever since, the 1920s or whatever. And then she reemerges in like modern times. And it's like, well, no, because she's here. She's here right now. She's wearing a cool gold suit.
So let's break this down for me, because I think it almost to a fault that they felt like this was its own film. It almost forgot its whole other thing. So I just want to go into. I'm going to start rewriting the film here, Phil. You can give me your 2 cents as we go through this film.
I hope you got. I hope you guys out there. Hope you have about 2 or 3 hours to get through rewriting this whole friggin'
Yeah. Okay. Everyone, buckle in for this. All right. So, as we know, let's just hit the bullet points. Wonder Woman, Amazonian goddess, half demigod, right? Something like that.
Right.
She came from the island, and now she's living in the world. And now she has the burden of knowledge, right? Now she knows so much. And just like Harry Potter, they have all the information and all the power, but they're like, well, we might help you guys, but like, good luck with all those like world wars and stuff like that. I'll see you in 1984. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so much stuff has happened. Vietnam, all these things. Wonder Woman's like just kicking it back in the Smithsonian. And that's my first gripe. That's my first gripe. As Phil, is this movie purely playing on the nostalgia factor of that they're trying to squeeze that last 80s bit, that pulp culture 80s that we have going strong right now?
Yeah, it's funny because like ever since Stranger Things came out, that was kind of like the catalyst of like a bunch of 80s stuff. At least it kind of feels that way. And I guess mostly just because it was such a popular show. It was such a big show and it reached so many people. So yeah, the 80s really blew up with that. And then, then of course there's Cobra Kai, which is a great show too. And it does a lot of 80s nostalgia stuff. But yeah, this movie I feel like was kind of like they thought of it, around that time where everything was going 80s like crazy. And they're like, let's do a Wonder Woman 80s thing. Wouldn't that be cool?
Because this movie, and correct me wrong, this is my first rewrite. This could have been set in any year at any point in history, and they just wanted to put a Ronald Reagan lookalike in the film. Right. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, they wanted like all the neon jumpsuits and all the cool
and so
fashion. I think, to be honest with you, I think it was the fashion mostly that I was like, I guess this movie's only in 84 for the fashion. Maybe that's weird.
And that's what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm an executive producer. Here's my first rewrite. We're sticking with 80s. Here's my opening scene. Okay, so I'm already just going to go that you probably don't need to like know the general themes of the movie. But here's the general theme of the movie that they're trying to hit. Okay, I think it's that you don't want to cheat. I think that's the message of the film, because we have an antagonist who has a soul stone. Sorry, no, that's Marvel. A wishing stone, monkey paw, that if you get it, something bad happens. And the monkey paw trope is loosely in the film. It's kind of in here, but I want to, since this is a term I'm going to just put out, and don't take this too lightly, but 80s nostalgia porn. I feel like that's the cinematic thing that happens. So we want our opening credit scene. Wonder Woman is in the mall. She's jazzercising in the middle of the mall. It's great. Oh, man. And she's living her life because she can. And she's an independent woman. All right. She has nothing going on. She's in the Smithsonian. And I want to make it so that we rewrite and cut that entire opening sequence of the Hunger Games dead child scene.
That thing was almost like it was supposed to be, a setup of the theme of the movie, which I guess in a way kind of is about, like you said, not cheating or telling the truth. There's this big, monologue that's about truth. Like, she's like, the truth is the truth, and that's the truth. So be true. I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, I guess this movie's about the truth. So make sure that you tell the truth.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what we talked about before. This obviously felt like there was revisions and cuts, and the editor had to deal with different genres because the characters almost feel like they weren't written with a character arc. Most of these, Wonder Woman doesn't have a character arc. Our antagonist, I think, is the only one that has a character arc, and our muscle, which is Tigress, as we talked about, almost has a story arc. So here's the thing. I want to make it so that if we have a wishing stone, we all know, if you watch film, what's the lesson that it is in our hearts when we have a wishing stone, and it's the after school special, is that the thing that we wanted all along was right in front of us, Phil, right? Isn't that what we always are told? It's like, didn't I know? Oh boy. And that's the thing for all three of these characters. Wonder Woman, I think she needs to find her sense of duty, because I think she is, at this point, when if you have superpowers, do I care about myself, my secrets, or do I save that which is around me? The Tigress Woman, she loses her humanity and science while she's trying to become, not vilified and decrepit, not vilified, an object for the eyes of men. Because there's that kind of weird notion that is somewhat played and never got brought up again. Right. And I can I'll hit you here, Phil, with the last thing, and the last one with antagonist, Pedro Pascal, he realizes he needs to be a father, and these are all the things that they don't realize they already have. Right. And so if I'm going with this, all right. So if we all know the monkey paw, I'm going to open up. First off, I think that Wonder Woman should just kick butt without having her powers, because if she's trying to not be seen, that's the whole character arc. This is DC universe that she's trying to be hidden. Right. She's gallivanting around in a mall with security cameras.
Yeah, in full costume too. You know what I mean? It's like there's no mistaking her at all, which is, again, like you said, if you're staying in continuity with the way these Snyderverse movies are going, it's like, oh, she was never seen, for like all these years, and it's like, well, shit, here she is right here. Look, that's Wonder Woman right there. Look, she's wearing the Wonder Woman costume and everything.
And that's the thing. So I think first thing in the film, let them bank robbers be bank robbers and have that 80s nostalgia porn. But I think just have some more hand-to-hand combat. Make it feel like it's a kung fu movie in that first part. And then, maybe she uses the powers a couple times and she's like, oh no, I busted a hole in this wall. Hope no one notices that because I'm obviously an Amazon.
Yeah.
But keep it more grounded because again, she's an intelligent woman. She works at the Smithsonian. So let's keep that consistent here. Pedro Pascal, I think I love his character arc out of everyone. Phil, how did you feel about Pedro Pascal?
He's great. I mean, he's a great actor. I thought his character was it was like perfectly kind of over the top and just like, just a completely goofy character. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing about this movie that I think is kind of its saving grace is just that it doesn't really take itself that seriously. It really is just kind of this silly, superhero movie. And it's like, and in a way, Aquaman was kind of the same way. Aquaman was a little bit more just kind of lighthearted, a little bit more fun, and it wasn't trying to take itself super seriously the way like Man of Steel obviously was. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? Batman v Superman. It's like all of the Zack Snyder movies are like just like super brooding and dark and so like, hardcore. And then, and this one was, that's the one thing about it was that it was fun and all the characters were pretty enjoyable for the most part.
I think that's the thing too. And I think there can be a through line of fun, but I think what happened for me in this film is that, and this is where I'm going to just try to rewrite this film really fast, is that they forgot each of the characters what they wanted. And I think that's the through line for me is that why this movie didn't hit hard is that I feel like each one of these characters forgot what their story arc was. Like there's so many moments in this film where the story is being pushed by the plot rather than the plot being pushed by the story.
Right.
They're in a different country for God knows why.
Yeah.
And she forgets that she loves this man, but he's in a different man's body, which that's been talked about to death. If you want to hear about the weird, it's hard to say it's kind of hard not to say rapey vibe of this weird character that makes no sense. Right.
And the thing is too, is it's like, probably the biggest story issue in the movie is that there's the wishing stone, the monkey's paw, and you make a wish on it. And, the wishes are so like inconsistent, like how they are created. Like at one point that like the one guy wishes for a straight up wall in like Egypt or whatever. And the wall just appears, And so like when Wonder Woman is like, oh, I wish Steve Trevor was still around. It's like, he has to inhabit somebody's random guy's body. He can't just be materialized just like a wall can be, you know what I mean? So there's so much kind of like inconsistencies with how the actual properties of things are planned out and how they work. I really feel like it was just like, hey, there's going to be a magic stone. People are going to wish for things, and then we're going to have fun and blow things up and smash things.
It's the 80s, right? Like, and I think that's the thing. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's so many rewrites I can go through, but I think if I'm going to rewrite any specific part of this movie, it needs to be Tigress for me. And I think that's the linchpin in this film that didn't hit quite right. Everything about this character, it feels like that I'm a man feminist writing what I think should be feminist plot line. And that's what it feels like. So Tigress, not Tigress. I'm going to just call her actress name. What's the actress name?
She's actually Cheetah, but it's all right.
Cheetah. Sorry. I keep saying Tigress.
It's not really Cheetah anyway.
That she's looked down upon in the Smithsonian or something that, at this point, everyone in there has a PhD and there's still like bully culture or something. Right. It doesn't make any sense. She dropped her glasses.
Like hipster doofy guys with their like popped collars and shit. And I'm like, seriously, like working at the Smithsonian? Like these are some cool dudes, like freaking looking at artifacts and stuff.
And I think that's for me too, because so if I'm going to rewrite her, I'm going to keep her a lesbian. Okay. It was very hinted that the actress name, I'm
Kristen Wiig.
That the character she was playing was a lesbian. It was very strongly hinted that she was lesbian, that she kind of had these like anti-men vibes, that she was really attracted to Gal Gadot.
Right.
And then she took a 360 for Pedro Pascal. And so if I'm the rewrite of this, because like we're talking about, the monkey paw takes something that you don't realize that you actually had, that you wanted all along, right? And I think for her, it was her humanity. All right.
Pretty much. Yeah. She starts to kind of lose her, like, she just turns kind of crazy and turns kind of like,
because they show her being very kind to the homeless man on the bench. She gives him food. She gives her life to science, which is a very, noble thing to do. That's something you give your entire life doing. And so that, I think the one thing that linchpin that needs to happen is that she was studying animals.
Right.
And so I think the story that this character needs to have is that she realizes the power of these animals are crazy, and their feminist power, and everything that these animals can do in a matriarchy society, just like how the Amazons are. And she kind of makes it almost a radical view. And I think that character arc needs to go through that the entirety. Okay, she's a human, she's nice, she loves everything, and she kind of gets corrupted along, and that's the arc that this character has that just never gets brought through.
Right.
It's hard to say, but yeah, that's the one moment I want to rewrite, is if she's going to be attacked by men and it's throughout the night, and she's a very small, petite woman, and she wishes she could have this power. Mm-hmm. And there's a moment you see that where she almost feels like she's going to kill a guy. Like,
right. I mean, realistically, it should have. She like legit like throws him into the side of a truck. Like the truck just like crumbles underneath him. It's like, guess what? All of his bones are like dust now.
It should have been.
He just like gets up and walks away, and it's like, no, she just basically destroyed this guy.
And that's the thing for me, and that's the thing is, so that there's if I'm rewriting this, there needs to be the character arc of Cheetah goes throughout, and she loses her humanity. But as that happens, this is a little story trick. Wonder Woman can start to find her humanity, and that's where the climax of the film goes, because she's been selfishly wanting this love with Steve, Chris Pine, and she realized that her duty is not to her selfish needs, but that of everyone around her. Her duty is to saving the world, because she has a great power.
Right.
And that's where I feel like that apex of like the climax never happened. The juxtaposition of characters never happened.
Right. And another problem for Wonder Woman in particular in this movie is that in the first movie, there was this big, fish out of water kind of scenario, right? Where it's like, she's never actually been to like, the real world or whatever. And so, Chris Pine acts as kind of like her guide or her mentor character or whatever on that journey, right? Which is perfectly fine. But then it was like, 70 years later or whatever in this movie. And it's like, when Chris Pine comes back, it's like, again, he's almost like kind of carrying her hand a little bit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, she should be the one kind of carrying him at this point. You know what I mean? He doesn't know anything about where he's at. So yeah, it was kind of unfortunate that even Wonder Woman's arc felt almost like it like regressed back to kind of like that timid kind of thing. It's like, no, I mean, she's been a hero for 60, 70 years in this universe. She should be on top of it.
She knows how to pick a lock, even though she can smash it. She knows how to work a computer because she saw the birth of them go through. Like, that's the thing for me. I think Wonder Woman for me needed to be James Bond, Batman. She's every freaking character that's ever been around, because she's immortal, basically. Yeah. And that Steve is there, and that is kind of like leave that in the past. She can move forward.
Right. I wouldn't mind if there was like a small scene where she does get to talk to him somehow in a dream sequence or something, and get some kind of closure so that feels like she can move forward. But the fact that it was like both of them teaming up again, buddy cop movie with the two of them, I was like, I don't need that. I don't really need that.
So that's the last thing. I mean, that's the thing I will last say, is that I did feel like the movie is catering to too many things, and it's one-dimensional for me. Yeah. Bill, how did you feel about Wonder Woman 1984?
I think it's just it's too jumbled. There's no rules. The stone does what it wants to do, and then when Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, starts, turns himself into it, all of a sudden it's like he makes the rules now all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. There's too much too much inconsistency in story and characters and strange stuff. It's just, yeah, it's not great. But I mean, it was entertaining. It was a fun movie to watch. But if you try to think too hard about it, you're gonna have a friggin' aneurysm.
Yeah, and I think that's the funny thing too is I had so many rewrites, and at the end of the day, I'm like, I can't. There's too much. I can't. Yeah. I don't even know. There's too many things. And I think that's what happens with there's 17 producers that are in these films now. Gets to a point.
The big budget movies, there's too many hands in the cookie jar, I think.
Yeah. Well, we will see with our boy Robert Pattinson, our little boy Robert Pattinson, the next DC film. But for this one,
I'm interested. I think he's a great actor, so I think he's going to do a good job. We'll just see what the material has.
So Phil gives it you should watch it if you got some popcorn, and Kelsey gives it if you want to put it on while you're knitting.
If you're bored. Yeah. If you're bored and there's nothing else to do, watch it. It might be a little.
Oh boy. So I think we can probably move to our next section of our next movie here, Phil.
What you want to take a look at some of the comments maybe and see?
Oh yeah, what were we saying here? Let's find out. For those of you watching, hello. We're trying to get us more into.
Oh, here we go. This is the best part of the movie.
Oh yes.
Thank you, Miss Asteria.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a beautiful name. It's from my culture. I can't thank you enough. I mean, you saved my daughter. How did you do that?
It's just a simple shift of weight. Takes practice. But I've been doing this a long time.
Heck yeah.
And a film that could have been, right, Phil? A film
right.
That could have been.
I mean, it was cool that they at least put her in on a cameo. But yeah, I was happy to see Linda Carter in there. She's the nice. OG. She's the OG, baby.
Oh boy. So let's see here. What do we got? This funny thing is I didn't even get to say anything. I didn't too much to talk about. I appreciate you, Jason.
Oh yeah, we were gonna do our top 5 DC movies too, weren't we?
Top 5. We'll rush down. Phil, if you want to give me your speed run of the top 5 DC franchise films we have, what do we have?
I went through all of them. There's like 30 DC movies. Like if you want to go all the way back to the old school Superman. Mm-hmm. So I of all of those movies, all the DC movies, I've got the original Wonder Woman number 5, Batman Begins number 4, Superman 2 number 3, Superman 1 number 2, and dude, who can argue The Dark Knight number 1? That's like just one of the greatest comic book movies of all time.
Yeah, that's fair. I thought we were going to say that it's unfair to put the Christopher Nolans in their list because obviously they would put the top 3. But I would have to say that, yes, of course, for me, it has to be the top 3 Christopher Nolan. But if I was being a real stickler and how I love the Batman films, I have a very big soft spot for the George Clooney films because I watched those as a very young age. I think that was the age you're supposed to watch them.
Right.
So, not taking anything. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Clooney. I mean, it's cartoon land.
Uma Thurman. Who else is in that one?
So I have to say a soft spot for Batman Returns. Or no,
Batman and Robin, right?
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the other film that is put Batman and. Is what the other George Clooney Batman film? I can't. But
I think he was only in one of them.
He definitely was too. He was definitely in 2.
I think he was only in 1.
We already have a first comment noticing how Phil is refraining from the drop of the F-bomb.
I wasn't going to talk about this. Okay, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I watched the last stream and it was just like it was like F-bomb city. So I was like, you know what, dude, I'm going to try to tone it back a little bit. Just got to pull it in. Sometimes you got to just pull them reins in.
Well, we'll see if we can't get some more cuss words as we keep going here, Phil. Maybe when my T's went out.
Well, we haven't talked about Eye of the Beholder yet. I'm saving a few for that one.
We'll fucking see about this film. All right. So let's transition in. And I think we have the trailer for the next film here. And this is our rewind from what year, Phil?
This was actually from 2000. I think it opened in 99, but didn't open in the States until 2000.
I see. So 20 years ago, Eye of the Beholder would have been in theaters right now.
Right.
we got Phil messing with some stuff.
Howdy, race fans. How's it hanging?
Just
Katie Lang.
Dude, wasn't this the coolest part of the film? Like the 90s future? Or the, not 90s,
Right.
the 2000s future?
That's funny. That's Priscilla Queen of the Desert. I had forgotten about that movie until it came out.
Man, remember when trailers were like this?
If I blink, I might lose her. So the last time I blinked, I lost my wife, and I nearly lost my mind.
Obi-Wan, what?
She's all I've got left.
Who was he? You know the one who waits outside for you and follows you
That's like
around
the
like
coolest
a
shot in the
lost
whole movie.
dog.
That was one of the coolest shots.
She went north about a half hour ago.
Never reveal yourself to any man who doesn't need to know.
And what other little tricks did you teach her?
I taught her to survive, to fight, and never let them in.
Sharks.
All right.
Limited memory. Maybe I'll
Phil,
name it.
so this, like we were saying, is the exact opposite of the film we just had. And we'll be running through clips of the film as we talk, just kind of in the background muted, just so everyone watching can kind of get a gist of the aesthetic we have here.
Right.
Man, Phil, so this felt like if a college graduate got a big old chunk of money and was able to do a film, but
Right.
in the best way possible. Is that, you know what I mean by that?
Sure. Yeah. That's a good way of explaining it.
Man, there was, I will say, just right off the bat, the editing and transitions of this film was, I think, the best part for me.
It was, they were cool. They were interesting. Like I think it was a very cleverly thought out kind of like style. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was a very
for sure.
cleverly thought out style. I'll say that.
The set deck and the transitions and the costumes, not costume, but the props, everything
Right.
about like that world of this film, because it technically was like the future, right?
Yeah, that's actually really funny because when my wife Erin and I were watching it, she was like, "Is this movie supposed to be in the past?" and I was like, "I don't think so," because she just was, noticing that like they had the really old school looking like CRT TVs in it,
but it had like a webcam in it. There's a CRTV with a webcam.
Right. So there are a lot of like, it's just a very strange movie, but like I think what the guy was going for was like this kind of like femme fatale kind of like neo noir type movie. You know what I mean? Because it really did kind of vibe like that. It felt like it could have been in black and white or something. It
definitely did.
Like, oh, this is like an old, old timey kind of like 1940s, 1950s kind of thrillers. And
so. Yeah, and so let's run through the plot here, and just a quick run plot. So, Ewan McGregor is in some federal or private bureau of some sort of secret agency.
Yeah, it's like a broke ass CIA or something
like that. He then is assigned to spy on people. That's his job, is to spy on, probably get dirt and leak the information. So his whole job is intel and security, basically, and video surveillance. He then finds a woman who he shouldn't have murder someone. Right. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think that's the pivotal moment in the movie. It even says in the trailer, the killer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the kicking off point really is like, oh shit, what just happened? She killed somebody. And
so then he runs through and his mental starts to become in question because his long lost daughter is gone and chase ensues. I think that's basically the bullet points I can hit for this film. Did I miss anything, Phil?
That's about it. You got one crazy person going after another crazy person for an hour and a half.
And that's the thing too for me, Phil. It almost felt like that was it. I think if you read or if you just listened to what I just said, that was the entirety of the film. And everything else was aesthetics and camera transitions, and because after that there really isn't much of a story or anything along those lines.
Well, similar to what you're talking about with Wonder Woman, it's like there's characters. These characters, they don't grow really. They don't really evolve. There's nothing really happens. They're just there for like a long time. And the idea that
go ahead.
Yeah, the idea is that Ashley Judd's character, the killer, she's completely unaware of the eye or whatever, which she calls him the angel of Ewan McGregor's character. So she doesn't even know who he is. They never interact at all until the end of the movie. And so she knows nothing about him, right? And so it's like, and he's not really growing as a character as he's watching all this stuff unfold. And, if anything, he's getting worse. Like over time, his personality disorders or whatever he has, they're like worsening and getting worse because he's like, he starts to just go overboard. Like this scene, what I mean?
Where he starts to become an actual killer at this point.
I mean, obviously, yeah. Okay, so here's a little spoiler if you want to say it for a 21-year-old movie. But I was waiting for Jason Priestley too. I was like, where's Jason Priestley in this movie? Like Jason Priestley's cool, And then he shows up and he's like the biggest dirtbag of all time.
It definitely felt like, I will say, this felt like an art house film, and just the presentation and the lack of character development. But this almost felt like this film felt to me like a great foundation for like a great spy movie or a Catch Me If You Can, if you will. Right. It had those bases of love. Because basically the through line of Ewan McGregor's character is that he's schizophrenic. I think he's schizophrenic. I think it's.
I guess so.
Heavily implied he's schizophrenic.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's the only. Yeah. It's his daughter is like pretty much the only thing that he sees. You know what I mean? So there's not other like you could maybe say because of that and because he interacts with just his daughter, he just has like. You know what I mean? It's just specifically that. I mean, it'd be probably more, clearly, explicit that he's schizophrenic if there were other people showing up too. Yeah. You know what I mean? But either way, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because there's a scene I have about where I think it's called The Dream or something, and we can pull that up. But it's just kind of heavily mentioned that, it's all in his head, and It's not subtle. They clearly say that this girl is not real. Like 2 minutes into the film, but as I was saying, like it almost felt like if they could have just teased that a little less, it would have been such a cool discovery that we can kind of find like, oh wait, his daughter's never been there.
Okay.
But it again, like it felt like to me like I almost wanted there to be so much more in this film because I really loved like this through line of, I guess he was supposed to buy his daughter a snow globe and he never got there.
Right.
And so the snow globe aesthetic is heavily played throughout the entire film of transitions between locations.
Right. Yeah, it's like he picks up a snow globe in all these different cities that he goes to. Yeah, there's like there's little details in it that it's kind of like this could have been an interesting movie, I guess. But it's like, but I get what I think you're onto something when you say, was this even in the movie? Was it?
This is a deleted scene.
This is a deleted scene. Okay.
But this, I've just put this out because this is kind of the aesthetic they go throughout. This kind of hits everything all at once because after this scene ends, it pulls back and they use this transition like 5 times with the film where it's, oh boy, it's been the snow globe this entire time.
But yeah, going back to what you were saying earlier, like I think the reason why this movie didn't work, or at least wasn't particularly well executed, was just because the director was pretty fresh, I guess. You know what I mean? And I've never seen Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, but I know a little bit about it. And I think it's a comedy, but it might be a little bit kind of drama comedy or whatever. But I mean, it's a similar thing that happens, I think, with a lot of movies, especially in like superhero movies, for me, at least in more recent years, is like somebody will put out this little indie movie that, kicked ass at Sundance or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, that was a great movie you made, man. A character story. It's like, really heavy, emotional. Do you want to do the new Spider-Man movie? You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh yeah, why the hell wouldn't I? You know what I mean? So then somebody comes out and makes the Spider-Man movie and you're like, well, this is like a terrible Spider-Man movie. That like, for example, the Amazing Spider-Man with what's his face? The British guy. I can't even remember his name right now.
Andrew Garfield?
Garfield, yeah.
Yes.
Like when those movies came out, I was like, yeah, this just feels like just a bloated CG overproduced movie. And they weren't even getting like the elements of Peter Parker, right? You know what I mean? He was like this cool, like skateboarder emo kid in school. And I'm kind of like, that's not even Peter Parker, man. So it's like, I feel like that, like what you're saying is similar to what happened in this movie. It's like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert did really well. So it was like, hey, we got this other movie, Eye of the Beholder. We got a couple, A-list actors. You want to do it? Sure, I'll do it. Cause why the hell not? But it's like, yeah, it just, I don't think that really, I just don't think he was in his element here. And I think it shows big time because the movie's really slow. It's really dry. It just, and there's not a lot of eventful things happening in it. It's a rough one. It's a rough watch.
I would say if you were to watch this film in the theaters, I think you would leave feeling like a little bad. Like you kind of like, because you made a night of it and you did a thing, but maybe it wasn't well advertised. I don't know. But I will say if you were to watch this, the year it came out, you guys be like, man, the future looks fucking crazy. We're going to be able to talk to people online.
Right.
Without a microphone and just talk, get real. Okay. We're just over radio waves. I'm tapping in because there's a scene actually too, where it's like, why are you're using a landline for this call? It's like, I had to use a landline because I couldn't get the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because he just opens up a suitcase with a TV in it that he's been lugging around.
Right.
This big old CRTV that has a webcam in it.
Right.
And I feel like the aesthetic is so cool though, I will say.
Yeah, I think he had a visual kind of like thing that he was picturing in his head, and it was executed pretty well in that regard. But I just don't think he really understood kind of like how these characters were supposed to grow, how they're supposed to interact with each other, how to, even how to get characters that are like empathetic, because it's like, it'd be one thing if, Ewan McGregor was just, like maybe just a stressed out guy. He did lose his family from like, being a workaholic or whatever, but he's not crazy and he's not going to try to kill people and shit like that. But it was like, you didn't even get that. Like he has that weird scene where like he fucking aims his like sniper rifle at the car and like shoots the car and kills the guy. I'm like, he's a freaking nut job. Like what kind of shit is this? I'm like, how am I supposed to care about this dude if he's a weirdo?
It was cool. We showed it once, but he that whole device, though, like I was saying, the aesthetic of this film, I think, is like the only reason it carried me through this film, because I was like, man, the future looks crazy.
Right.
The year 2000, like what? Because that gun you're talking about, it not only is it, I thought he just had a gun because it was helping him look, but it has a camera,
right,
a microphone but also like a spy microphone where you can hear through walls,
right,
and he's like looking through it, and that's how he gets his targets. And I was like, man, what a funny thing that he just put a gun on it, but like it doesn't actually shoot, right? And then he starts shooting. I'm like, oh wait, this guy's a murderer. Wait, what?
Right. Yeah, it was so weird. I was like, what the hell? Like, how am I supposed to even like root for him at all? Like, he's just such a freaking weirdo in the movie, And it's like he has, the segment with Jason Priestley where he like kind of saves her from that crazy, creepy heroin guy. It was like, okay, cool, that's good. I'm glad he's at least doing that. But even that, the way he went about it with like brass knuckles and just like totally destroying his face. I will say though, yeah, this scene is weird, and but I was gonna say like the scene right before this was like one of my favorite scenes ever, where like he's hiding in the bushes. Do you remember that? He's like hiding in the bushes, and she's there with Patrick Bergen, who rules.
For
she's there with Patrick Bergen. She's like, oh, I have to leave, and so she leaves, and Patrick Bergen's like, who are you? I hear you out there, and then all of a sudden like he pops up and like runs over and like bum rushes him and sucker punches him all crazy. I was like, dude, that's comedy gold right there, dude.
Another part of the film too. So in the film, so as we discover the Judy, no, not Judy, the actress name, Judy,
Ashley Judd.
Ashley
She's
Judd.
awesome. She's really good.
mentally unstable. They're both mentally unstable. She lost a father, he lost a daughter, and they're both trying to find semblance. So she's looking for her daddy issues, and he's looking for her daughter issues. So what a crazy, wacky pair these people can be. And that's why he's so obsessed with finding her. But she finds a very wealthy blind man to keep her safe and sound. And Hugh McGregor just can't have that. She's done. She's because she's been murdering people. So you think that he's been trying to like frame her and get her finally to justice because he is a bureau agent after all, question mark, police department, question mark. Yeah. And it takes a 180 and he becomes a psychopath. And he needs to kill not only everyone around her, but keep her for herself.
Right. And that was another thing that pissed me off about his character is that, so he's like working for this pseudo CIA place, right? So his whole job is like locating people and watching people. And I'm like, why doesn't he use these gadgets or whatever to go find his daughter? Like he's obsessed with his daughter. He's got all this stuff. You know
I totally forgot about that.
Like he goes off on this whole like flying, like globe trotting all over the place, chasing her around. And like, dude, if you're so obsessed with your daughter, why don't you take one of these plane tickets and go look for her, dude? And so that's what I mean. That's why this movie just doesn't work for me, because it's like he doesn't really have a clear motivation of what he wants to do. And like I said, you can't really empathize with him because he flies off the handle and he does weird shit. So you're like, he's just this weird, the hero of the movie, really, but it's kind of like, is he even really a hero? He's not. And Ashley Judd, she's really good in it. And, she does have some growth to some degree, because after she meets the guy, the millionaire wine dude, like she kind of tones down and she's kind of just like about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not off killing people. She's not doing a bunch of crazy shit. She's kind of like in love and happy, And it's this freaking guy who comes out and freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi come out of nowhere, freaking shooting shit up.
Yeah.
Busting caps.
I will say, if you were to watch this film as we are winding down to our rewind of this week, I would watch this film for the editorial style, transitions, and I think how to build a world, because these moments are really cool for me. Again, the like pseudo police department, I fell in love with that. The whole transition thing, I fell in love with that. It just felt like it was almost a really cool spy film. Right. Man, and what could have been, Phil? What could have been?
It's the characters. You know what I mean? Like it came down to the characters, really, because ultimately it wasn't bad, but because the characters just didn't work, I think that's really that was kind of like the straw that broke this movie's back, man.
Well, man, anyone 20 years ago going into the theaters to watch I Beholder.
Right. It was number one. It was like Super Bowl weekend, I guess.
Actually?
It was number one that weekend. The reason why is because there wasn't like any movies that opened against it. It was like there was nothing. Let me see. There's a movie called Isn't She Great? Came out. Bette Midler, Nathan Lane, Stockard Channing. I've never seen that movie.
Well, we are in January, Phil. So
as
we keep going through, we'll
the whole fuck you, it's January curse.
Fuck you, it's January.
Yeah, big time. There was nothing else out, but it was funny. I was reading about it. Like this movie came out, it won the box office with not much either. It was like maybe like $8 million or something crazy that. But because nobody was there watching anything, and then it just immediately tanked like right after that because it's so bad. You know what I mean? It's like just such a boring movie. So
I want to show the last this gotcha vibes. It definitely Gattaca vibes. Right. I read that as gotcha. Gattaca vibes.
Dude, definitely. Gattaca is like 10 times better than this movie, though.
I can see as far as the aesthetic goes of like the future as we are in the 90s and 2000s. What does that look like? And it's funny now looking back in these films, because looking at I Beholder, we're on Zoom. This is Twitch right now. All those things are like, man, imagine talking to someone in your TV. What a crazy time that would be. What?
Right.
And here we are. It's pretty crazy where we are as far as 20 years ago, what the future is. And
right.
They got it down pretty well. That's the thing about this movie. It doesn't seem hokey or odd because they nailed it so hard. You watch it and you're like, holy shit, they got that right.
Right.
That's how it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, another thing I was going to mention is so right around this same time, this is Ewan McGregor, like straight up Obi-Wan, because I think
just made Phantom Menace, because Phantom Menace
just like a few months before the Phantom Menace had come out. So yeah, it was kind of cool to see him, that kind of old school. I like Ewan McGregor a lot too. I think he's a great actor, and I was glad that he played Obi-Wan. He was one of my favorite parts about those prequel movies.
He is. I mean, he's getting his own series here, Phil. I mean,
yeah. And you know what?
I don't want to go too into it. I know you're not a Star Wars fan. I'm not going to bait you into saying you're a Star Wars fan anymore because you hate all Star Wars.
What I was going to say about that in particular was I was going to say if there was any show, if there was anything that Disney's Star Wars BS was pulling out of their ass, it would be that show because it's supposed to have, of course, Ewan McGregor reprising the role as Obi-Wan, and they're wanting to cast
Hayden
Skywalker himself, freaking Hayden Christensen. So I was like, you know what? This could be cool. But then I quickly snapped out of it and I said, no, wait, this is Disney. This is going to freaking suck.
Oh, boy. We won't bait him, chat. We won't let him know that actually Mandalorian's okay. It's very okay. But
right.
I won't talk about it anymore, maybe for another episode or so.
We'll save Star Wars for the roll of the dice. When we roll the dice and it happens to land on when the George Lucas crazy super editions came out, or maybe Revenge of the Sith came out.
Maybe if there's enough demand, we might get it going here. But so let's roll the end credits here, and we can start to view some questions, answer some questions in the chat.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess last thing before we do that, Phil, was this a rewind for you? Where is this? Is it a full rewind? Is it a half rewind? Are you not rewinding it at all?
No. This is as soon as it's over, just take it out, take it back. Just take it out. Take it back.
I feel like for me, the same goes, but I think I would have to rewind it just out of common courtesy because of this. I just want people to understand what they're getting into. I think.
Right.
But yeah, no rewind for me, Phil.
Yeah, you can rewind it or not. It doesn't matter.
That was Eye of the Beholder. Oh boy. If not, we'll just go straight into. Okay, but our production team is telling us that the computer crashed, so we'll just go into answering the chat here.
And, let's talk. Let's see what people are talking about here.
Oh. My Google is talking. I'm not sure if anyone can hear my Google talking, but I probably said an okay and an oogle at some point and kept going.
Dude, Alexa is the worst with that shit.
So he started, is Carson saying he started going crazier once he stopped to see his kid? Yeah. There was a moment in that film where he just stopped being schizophrenic all of a sudden. He's just like, well, I'm not going to be back. And he's like, all right, bye. I'm not schizophrenic anymore.
Right. Bye. What was that one? Grosse Point Blank meets Fight Club.
Oh man,
no, those are two good movies.
And what do we say? We don't rewind because no one else will rent it. I think that's the comp. That's the thing. So if I'm in Blockbuster 2000,
right,
I might. Yeah, jeez. I might forget about it. If I had this film, I would totally forget about it, and it would cost me $40 because that had left no lasting imprint on my mind, and I just completely forgot about it.
Dude, I have a pretty funny story about that. I'll save that for the now. That'll be a teaser for the next one. Our next episode, I have a funny taking a movie back late to Blockbuster story. It's actually a pretty good one, but I'll save it for the next time.
So let's see. I think we can try to start to roll the dice here. If I can get a dice going here. So for our next rewind, and we don't have. I'm not sure if we have a new film in the works yet, but we will let everyone know because we have a new Discord. Thanks to some very kind people. We have a new Discord. So if you want to keep up to date with everything in the show, on the Box ABQ channel, we have a Discord so you can be up to date and know everything when we know it. So let's get a dice. Oh, we have a dice roll. There we go. Sorry, I was holding it up. Here we go.
Is that our number 5? Okay, here we go again.
Oh,
11.
11
So
years from now?
That puts us at about
1999?
2001.
Or wait, what year is this?
We're going forward. So like we start at 91 as the number 1. And then so 11 plus 91 would be 2001 basically. Does that make sense? We have our own math. We developed our own kind of math.
Chat, if you're not following with us, we know what we're talking about. I surely know what I'm talking about.
2001, but
we just had
which, oddly enough, 2001 is the same year that Save the Last Dance came out. So,
did we rolled again? We can't. We roll the dice one more time. We can't get the same year once again. Is that possible? Is that what happened?
2001, I believe.
Yes, if you have the Discord link, you can definitely put it in there. I will have to put a command for that. But definitely put that in there. For those of you who don't follow Discord, if you don't know what Discord is, Phil, I don't think you know what Discord is.
I still need to learn.
We'll get there. It's the new Facebook, kind of, almost, a little bit. It's hipper. But in any case, so what did we get, Phil? I don't remember what we got.
Well, we landed on 10. So if we're starting at 9. We're doing the years between 1991 and 2011, basically a 20-year block.
Yes.
And so whenever number we roll, we just kind of add that to 91, but we have to include 91. So that's why 2001. But 2001 is the same year that Save the Last Dance came out. So
okay. So
but we're going to be on a different date now. So we're looking at roughly what is that? February 12th. So wow. Well, there was only one big movie at that time, and it's a good one. Hannibal.
Whoa. I have to admit, I do not remember this movie at all. Oh, wait. Hannibal, like
I eat
Hannibal?
Liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. So it's like, I guess it's technically the second movie in that franchise. It was like, The Silence of the Lambs came out in like, I don't know, 91 or something like this, maybe. And then I think Hannibal was like the second one. Oh, wait, hang on. Wait, am I tripping? No, I'm on the, wait. 2000? No, I'm on the right one. Yeah, Hannibal. I thought I was looking at the wrong list here.
Someone.
Yeah, it's the direct sequel to Silence of the Lambs. So it's the second in the Hannibal Lecter verse. The Zack Snyder's Hannibal Lecter.
I've never watched it. I have never been. I think it's one of those movies that I know about it. I don't really need to see it. I kind of know what's going on, but I've never actually delved into actually watching it. So this is going to be an experience.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking too. I mean, these first two movies we did with Save the Last Dance, I'd never seen. Eye of the Beholder, I remember when it came out, but after I was watching it, I was like, I don't think I ever saw this movie. So, but yeah, Hannibal, it would be nice to watch it and just be very kind of like, looking how things are edited and everything. It's a Ridley Scott movie, so Ridley Scott's one of my favorite directors. So
I think the chat wants to know our math because 11 for us is 2002, apparently, according to everyone else.
11. Wait, I thought it was a 10 that they rolled.
I think it was 11.
Was it 11?
Well,
there was like 3 different ones up there. There was a 5. There was a 10. Okay,
we don't get 11 anymore.
Okay, 11. Fuck it. It's 11 now. Let me look. 11.
Well, chat, we were gonna watch Hannibal. Thanks a lot. And now
we're not watching Hannibal anymore. Where am I at? This is it's 2002, right? 2002.
Chat is telling us it's 2002. Yes.
2002. Okay, here we go. Fuck Hannibal. There
it is. The F bombs are out now. They finally got them out at the very end.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Let me see here. So it would be second weekend February. Is that right?
Second weekend of February. Our next show production. Yeah,
because that's 2 weeks from today, right?
Yep. We have every other week is the real Blowhards.
Right. So yeah, okay. So yeah, we'll say that weekend, February 10th. Here's another
comedy. Romantic comedy. It's
February.
Romantic,
it's a comedy for sure.
Is it comedy?
No. Collateral Damage.
Collateral Damage.
With the great
with
your favorite freaking Mr. Freeze.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, baby. Collateral Damage.
I'm looking it up right now so I can see this. I'm just looking up a definition here. So we got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh no.
Oh no is right.
What did you do? Look what you've done. All right. We could have just
been film was released in the United States on February 8th, 2002.
Yeah, can we get a big old blow up of that poster? Is that possible?
The governor's face with an explosion right next to it.
Oh boy. Man. Okay.
Jason, what's up,
he's
Jay?
excited. He's excited for Collateral Damage. So Collateral Damage. Where can we watch? So if those of you, again, we're gonna try to see if I can't. What I'd love to do, if possible, is get a movie night together on the Discord. So if you guys need to see it or want to see it, I can show it. But I don't know. Maybe we don't know. I'm not saying I'm gonna show it. That might be an option. I don't know. I might do a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Who knows?
Collateral Damage. I have seen it, so it'll be that one will be fun.
And our new movie, and sadly, I wish our new movie was Godzilla versus the Boxer,
right?
Which is King Kong. if none of you have watched that trailer yet, and I'm running along with chat now. I'm with you guys. I'm reading this. Man, were you able to catch that trailer here, Phil?
Oh, the Godzilla versus King Kong trailer. Yeah, it was pretty bananas.
Oh no, Phil, please.
It was a little crazy. I kind of watched that Skull Island movie, but yeah, I was like, dude, King Kong is too big. He's like way too big. I don't know why he's so big.
Dude, I was just loving that he like rolled back. He saw Godzilla and he was
right. He was like, dude, King Kong will take you on. King Kong will take on anyone.
Okay, so chat, we will discuss what our new movie for the new episode is. Again, Wonder Woman 1984, a great mug, and our new movie, our rewind is Collateral Damage. Eye Beholder.
Oh yeah,
Phil, this has been a great episode.
Next episode, we're on some Arnold Schwarzenegger. What are we gonna do for a new release next week?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can't actually think of a new movie that came out recently.
The only one I was thinking of that I haven't seen yet. Well, my lights keep dying on me.
I keep seeing that.
The only other one I was thinking of was Mank on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, so
yes, I think that has to be the newest release, right?
It's pretty new. I mean, it's been out a little while now, but it's still pretty new. I mean, it's kind of a new release.
I think that's our winner. I mean, in this day and age, we don't have much to go on. Right. So we're gonna hold on. This podcast is gonna hold on through the Twitch show, whatever this is called, through the pandemic, and we'll have actual releases, and then we'll actually have a great basis of movies that keep going.
Right
now, we have Collateral Damage to look forward through chat. It's been great. We show the week schedule here. So coming up on this channel, we have a lot of things going on this channel. We have the Real Blowhards, like we said. That's going to be 2 weeks from now, as every other week. So not next week, but the week after. And of course, we have the Carpet Playhouse quiz show on Wednesdays. And of course, Sarah Kennedy and Friends. And now that's such a delight. I don't know if you've seen the Sarah Kennedy and Friends show, because this channel is basically just becoming the Today Show 5th hour. As we keep going, we're just going to be NBC. So watch out, big cable networks. We're coming for you. And we of course have Karaoke 4-5 on Fridays. That is a great mess of a show. I keep watching it and I love it. It gets there. It hits different. That's for sure. And of course, we have our great one-night stands with our coveted team of players. And on coming on Saturdays, of course, me and Sophie streaming. And of course, if you want to see us doing the usual Twitch gaming thing, that's on Wednesdays and Sundays. And of course, we end out our collateral damage. See what happened? See what you did, Phil? Now, or in chat, I'm now saying collateral damage for our collateral of shows. And of course, we have improv classes coming up. So if you too want to see this improv that the show and what's going on? Okay, and the Stanleys are doing new classes coming up, and thanks to the beauty of online, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. Come take some improv classes. We have a actually great collateral of teachers. So please come on down and join us online for some new improv classes starting pretty soon. Phil, any last remarks on this week's episode?
No, I think we did pretty good, man. I didn't drop as many F-bombs on the page. Here, I'll post one just for old time's sake, and that'll be it.
There we go. Nice. Just to throw it out there. Oh boy. So chat, thank you for hanging out with us again. If you watch the VOD back, you can definitely enjoy these movies as we go through, but we will see you again in 2 weeks time. So
Blowhards, both of you. She probably was some smoke-colored camp girl.